What is special about him is he, at some point in his life, it was the peak of his career, he decided to stop performing in public. That's one thing. And there are very good reasons, moral reasons for that. It's basically the way he perceived the whole business of playing in front of an audience for him was morally corrupt, because it implied cultivating certain effects, rhetorical effects, and impressing people, and he didn't like that for, I think, essentially moral reasons. I'm not saying this should be like our ideal, and it would be a shame if public performances were abolished because, on moral grounds. But this is one thing, and also, and I'll keep to that, is the way he, as a result, invested the studio setting, the studio setup, in order to produce, albums which involve a lot of, production and montage in a way, splicing up sometimes up to 20 different takes of a 1.5 minute prelude to come up with the ideal version. This I find absolutely fascinating, because we're used to that in rap music or rock and roll, but for classical music he went very far in that direction of providing something that is entirely artificial, like this a composition made of different bits and moments of musical experience that put together will give you the sense that this is the kind of prototype or the ideal version that you would like to hear. I'm not implying that his versions are the best. Certainly you could argue that Richter has even better interpretations of Bach and so on, and I don't want to go into this, but he had a very, I think, bold philosophical claim, I think, that the ideal form of a musical work, such as, again, a prelude by Bach or the Goldberg variation, was largely independent from its material instantiation in a performance, in a moment of lived experience. His notion was that you could approach the essence of a work of a musical work by sort of abstracting and transcending any material, accidental material circumstances, such as what kind of instruments you're going to play, this piece with. Should you adhere to a kind of historical rendering of the historical Bach, or use a modern piano and so on? For him, the ideal piece of work could be virtually performed in any possible way, provided that you're true to the essence or to the what was the musical idea behind the piece. And this I find fascinating also as a kind of almost, you could say, Platonic version of musical experience, that there are ideal forms out there that are indifferent to their material instantiation.